Dan Leicht.
What's happening, man?
Round 2.
Oh, that's right. We had a round 1.
You're a glutton for
I think
punishment.
I lost round 1, dude.
This is going to be called Redemption. I'm kidding.
For who? You or me?
No. I wanted to get you back in here because after the last one, I got a lot of questions about, you guys should have expounded on certain subjects, like we were talking about some stuff. It might not have been interesting to me, but I guess we had people going in and then we stopped talking about it because we know the whole story.
Well, the reason stuff actually worked when we did it is because we shut up.
Yeah.
And loose lips sink ships. So we still do that today, even though we're not in the job.
Yeah.
We don't typically talk about it. We don't need to. You remember when we look at each other? We don't need to finish the story. We remember.
We've told each other the same lies for so many years. It's like, why keep stretching? Because I know when you're lying.
I just want to say.
Wait, he wasn't there. He didn't do that.
In all due respect to myself, as I learned that from you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to make yourself sound good. It's your, like I say, it's your story. Tell it. Suge Knight was a big one.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I got so many people talking about Suge Knight.
Well, so Suge Knight's an interesting character. Everybody knows about him and all the stuff that happened throughout his career, and starting in the streets when he was young, and going to play college football and at UNLV, and then coming out, and he didn't get drafted to the NFL and all that kind of stuff. So he became a record mogul, had some of the largest rap artists on his label. Everybody knows that. But some of the things that we did and that we learned, we couldn't talk about. A lot of it was still being adjudicated. Well, now it's adjudicated. He's doing time.
He's already locked down.
The interesting thing about that is, there's a series of events that just kept happening between you and me with him, cases that came up, and it started with you.
Well, I thought that we got rid of him when we left OSS.
Well,
it was way more.
I mean, you would think after, you can talk about that. You guys had to go up and protect his house.
Well, when we hit his house on the big one, he was sitting on his balcony with his smoking
jacket.
He slept in like silk pajamas, but he was really cool. I mean, he's trying to offer us coffee, and we're raiding his house and his businesses.
Yeah, he's a very charismatic man. Just don't want to get on his bad side.
Because Mike was there again.
Yeah, Mike
Cowett was there. So they had that report we talked about before. There was no shenanigans. There was no lying. So he knew he was going to have to deal with whatever Mike was there for.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't going to argue and act dumb. He knew he had lawyers and he played it out.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of sitting on.
But Mike wrote that warrant at home.
At his house.
He wrote it at home because there was so many problems that.
Well, when you write a warrant, as people may or may not know, the guys that watch this that are detectives or cops, they may know this, but there's certain things you have to do depending on your department.
Yeah.
For us, we have to do a RIB, which is basically a workup on the house and the suspect to make sure we can hit it or our SWAT team can hit it. Mm-hmm. Another part of that is the search warrant number. But as far as I know, they used to try to teach us that you had to file for a search warrant number before you serve the warrant. Mm-hmm. And that's not true.
No.
So we didn't. And the reason we didn't is because there's a lot of people now on the eyes. Could you imagine if you filed for a search warrant number on Suge Knight? And people, it's open. Now it's open. People in the courthouse that may or may not know him or know that name like that, you can start getting phone calls everywhere. And he's not the only one. He's not the only one that had people everywhere. So that what you're saying is you get there, the whole place is cleaned out. They haven't done anything ever, it looks like. That's because somebody tipped them off and told them we were coming.
But most of the time we knew who it was.
Yeah, true.
And when I was in the industry, we knew who it was. When I was in OSS in Norwalk, we knew who it was. Because there's the county hires from the neighborhoods.
They do. I mean,
there's a lot of friendlies in the department that would, one of the tricks was when you did an ops plan, you would do the ops plan, and the night before, when you do the warrant, you had to give an ops plan to the desk, and you had to take the watch sergeant, and everybody had to be notified. So when they got the calls that people stuff's going bad, they don't send a bunch of units. They know we're there for that. But the trick was, we would put a deputy, like a field deputy, standing outside the office at 2:29, and at 2:30, he'd walk in and hand it to him, and we'd hit that.
Just as you hit it, yeah. And see, you learn that. And how do you learn
shouldn't
that?
have to.
The hard way.
Yeah. It was sad that we had to do that.
Yeah.
But we knew that the phone calls would get made, and because we had a lot of wires going, I'm just going to say that we're listening, so you could hear them talking about what they're talking about.
Legal wires.
Yeah, of course.
legally.
But they knew. We could hear them talking about how they knew we were coming and who was telling them. We knew all that.
Yep.
Those are a lot of stuff I'm not going to say.
That goes into when you are working cases at OSS, and it's all gang cases. It's all, if you get up on the witness stand, you're a snitch. So I never, and you get told this by a DA, filing DA. I need your victims' addresses and phone numbers. Nah, you can just subpoena me and I'll go get them.
I hobbsed everything.
Everything.
Because if attorneys are watching, this is the trick, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now. You guys are gonna fight the whole trial, pre-trial, discovery, trying to open that Hobbs. Meaning, I sealed it so they can't see it.
Literally sealed it.
I don't have to show it till trial. I can do that. So he would spend his whole time trying to open that Hobbs, and then during trial, he thought the smoking gun was coming out. He's like, "This is a photocopy of your probable cause, all your subs, everything's in there." That's the way it works, dude. You guys play games. We're trying to make it so you guys aren't going to try to muddy up the water with the jury, making up a bunch of nonsense. So you're going to get the facts, and now you got to try the facts because you already had the facts.
Yeah.
But they would fight the Hobbs to the very, very end. Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Seeing them, and then when watching them open it was the best.
Yeah, it's amazing what the links they'll go to talk themselves into it.
Well, they'll try to listen to you when you're talking to the DA. I mean, they'll oh my God!
See, when you go into Hobbs, people are like Hobbs. Well, it's a special set of papers that you have to file with the search warrant that seals the warrant between those papers. Judge signs that too. He has to prove it. It gets sealed in an envelope and put in the court's safe. It's sealed.
Yep.
The only person that can open it is the IO.
Yeah.
Or the judge.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And then by the time they got it, they had to fight the case on the merits instead of a bunch of nonsense. And it was great. It was a fair trial instead of trying him just talking nonsense. They will try to bring anything into the case to make it, they know that their guy is probably dirty because to get a guy in the seat, oh my God, putting a person, people don't know what it takes to get that guy to be on trial in the first place is an act of God. It's going through we go through so many hurdles to get it to trial. Everybody's trying to dispo it. Everybody's trying to get rid of it. His attorney's trying to get a good deal. The DA is trying to cut him a deal. And the best deal is the day of trial. I was a bailiff for 3.5 years. The best deal you're going to get is here's some advice for you guys. It's going to be the day of trial. Because they want to free up the jury. They don't want to have a jury. They want to save the juries for cases that can't be disposed.
Yeah.
So every time they have a trial, they're using up a whole panel. And the panels come in, they have to sit through the whole voir dire. They have to sit through the whole thing, and then they're kicking them out one by one. It takes days sometimes.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
So they're trying to. I understand they're trying to work through it, but the case of Suge Knight. I mean, when we were dealing with him, it wasn't just him. He had to deal with his infrastructure because he had a huge following of people that were loyal to him, and they still are. And it's the same thing with a lot of these rich like rappers and artists. You're a millionaire now. Why are you still going back to Long Beach? Why are you still going back to Compton? Why are you still hanging out with these guys? Because you don't need them anymore. You made it.
You and I, we taught all over the country. We were in, was it Maryland? We were at Chesapeake Bay.
Okay, yeah.
So we were out there for the Atlantic chapter, and we were teaching. And we were going to teach we taught many things, but there's a lot of agencies outside of California that don't get the experience that we do only because of the amount that we deal with.
Yeah.
And so we were asked to come out. There was a guy that we trained with in
Virginia.
And he hooked it up. He's like, man, these guys, there's like at least 4 cases we should all hear. And that was just one of them. Well, we got out there and COVID happened and everybody got kicked out of the state. So we sat there eating Wawas for 2 days, and then when they flew us home.
It was the only place open.
Only place open, a gas station.
Yeah.
But so they asked us back like 2 years later, whatever it was, and we did teach it, and standing room only. But the premise of that is it started sooner than that. There was a bunch of stuff going on, that obviously with the Tupac stuff and all that, but that was long since over. But leading up to that, Suge Knight and Cat Williams were in Hollywood somewhere in LA, Hollywood area. And there was a photographer taking pictures of them. They got mad, or Suge got mad, as the story goes. And they chased her down, I believe it was a female, and they took her camera and pulled the film. So they were arrested. And recently, I think Cat Williams discussed this. He was never charged because Cat Williams, as small as he was trying to stop, as the story goes, Suge, hey, bro, relax, stop. And it didn't work, right? He didn't. So, right. So he gets arrested and he gets charged. Well, he's out on bail for that case. The One Oak curse, which you went to, which was a nightmare.
When he got shot at One Oak,
yeah,
I was there. That was a long night.
Wasn't that the
that was
Chris Brown's
MTV pre-party or something? Chris Brown, everyone was there.
Right. So then that happens to Suge, and he's honestly a victim. It looks like, but the
did you see the video? Did I show you the video?
Yeah, but
Jesus.
The thing is I think most people have kind of seen it on TMZ.
No, the real video.
That's the thing. The other thing is that you can see the level that they're willing, not just him, that wasn't his party, but the level that place went to clean everything up before you guys even arrived.
I never seen so many Jimmy Choos on the ground in my life.
They cleaned the whole crime scene up.
The women, when these women anyways, when the shit hit the fan, they just ran out of their shoes.
Yeah.
And when I went in, there was, $1,000 shoes everywhere. And everywhere.
And what was some of the IDs that they found out that they just kind of smashed after that?
They swept and mopped and cleaned. And
no, but I mean the girls' IDs and stuff. Yeah. There's all kinds of crap that they hid.
They hit a lot because it was a lot of celebrities, a lot of high end. I was in the room, the back room for about freaking 8 hours, and I was just you get bored in the back room waiting for stuff to work, and I'm looking at the receipts. One receipt from a bar was like $30,000, just in drinks. They don't serve food there, and these people were spending so much money. That was
a lot of money in there.
Yeah, but when he went dancing down the aisle, because he went to talk to Chris, and he goes dancing down the aisle, and then the homeboy comes in and shoots him. He shot 3 people that night, 2-3 people that night, but everybody ran, and then I was mad because I'm watching video and I'm like, it took forever to get in. It took forever for the guys to get in. And there was guys there working security.
Right.
Our guys,
yeah.
I'm like, why aren't you going in? Because what's the rule in dynamic? You don't wait for backup. Dynamic shooter, you got to go in. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to draw the fire, just like school shootings. Yeah. There's no waiting outside, waiting for everybody to show up like we usually do, and robbery. Everybody gets there, then we go take care of it. But dynamic shooting, a shooter inside a building where there could be multiple victims, your job is to go in and confront him. That's the job. If you're by yourself, you put out, I'm going in, and you go, because you're better suited to deal with him than anybody else in that room. They're just victims. There's no one fighting back.
Well, I do know that some of the places that hire like that, remember the nightclub I used to work in?
Yeah.
We were not allowed to go in.
See, but it, you're not
it
allowed to
go in. We didn't go in?
No. I was supposed to say.
They tell you stay outside, but if something happens, you don't.
A private company's rules don't mean nothing.
It doesn't mean anything. If you hear a gunshot, you're going in.
You're going in. And it's you're not Superman. You're not going to do stupid stuff.
No,
but your job is to confront the shooter and draw his fire. That's what I was taught. That's why when I saw the one in Florida where the guy's outside talking on the radio, I'm screaming at the TV, what are you doing?
What are you doing, dude? Get in there.
It's a school. Yeah. And I went to the school shooting in Lancaster where the kid brought in the guitar case.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And he shot that kid. He shot another kid. The kid lived. But I went and dealt with that. And I explained to them that, I watched the news conference, and I was kind of mad because the news conference was, we stopped. And no, a kid just wanted to shoot him once.
He had one person.
He shot him one time, and he left. No one stopped him.
No.
You weren't going to stop him. The security guards aren't going to stop him. They're security guards. They're not equipped for it. But it was by choice that he just shot him once and left.
It could have been worse, yeah.
But I watched them do the conga line. They got the fire department, all the Air Force, the Marines. They got all the, everybody who showed up, and they make them stand in front of that podium. They all take credit for their shit. Mm-hmm. There was no credit. That was just a choice of that kid. But the response was, you're letting kids into the school at 7:30, but the security, the deputy doesn't show up to 8:30. So he shot him at like 7:45. Why is the door open? Why are you allowing these kids to even come in if there's no security there? You have what do you call that, school resource officer?
Resource deputy or officer or whatever.
That's his job, to be at the school. Yeah. But he only goes when they tell him to go. Mm-hmm. Why are you letting the kids in before that? The kids know when the cop shows up. This is what I'm talking about. When I saw the Suge Knight shooting, I was like, these are things that should have been automatic that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And for the grace of God, he shot at Suge and he missed a couple of times, but he wasn't shooting at other people. And he ran out. It wasn't because he didn't want to kill 50 people. It's because that was the choice he made, that he was just going to take out a couple of people.
Yeah, if he wanted to.
Or take out Suge.
Yeah. Well, and all those,
And
all of that,
you know why.
Yeah. all and some of the stuff we're not going to get into.
No.
It's not worth it. But all of that stuff said, there's a reason why we do what we do.
Mm.
You know, we both worked patrol, we both worked custody, whatever that led to. Went to patrol, had to go to patrol, went to patrol. We both went to get, not at the same time, but we both went to get. We both went to the gang unit, and then we both promoted to an undercover detective team.
Mm-hmm.
And that team was specifically called in to take care of things that most people didn't have the ability to do or the time to do.
Yeah.
And because of Suge Knight and that group you're talking about, I mean, we don't know who did that? Really? All of a sudden, we don't know. Really? No, that's because everybody circled the wagons around.
I'm just
that.
not happy because we know why. And
I get it.
Come out.
But yeah. But so all of that going in, we already knew this stuff. You dealt with them at OSS. The whole bureau did several times. And so we know what we were getting into when we were asked to help.
That's why I said it on the last show that I was happy I was off on Tam's Day because you got to deal with it.
Yeah, so I go to Tam's. We'll start back there. So I get called out to Tam's.
And I was right to be happy because that went to...
Yeah, it did. It grew legs of its own, which
went to crazy town, man.
Well, if you look back, and I'll briefly touch on this. You look back at the new, I think it's a Netflix series on the rehashing the OJ case. When you look back at that and the legs they created just to get away from the evidence, it's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So that happened here, and that's what, to a lesser extent, obviously. But so I get called out to Tam's in Compton, and it started because Straight Outta Compton was being filmed. They were done, but what we heard, they were basically done with the movie. They were just filming on location in Compton, just getting the houses they all grew up in, and that kind of, just cleaning up their footage. And he showed up on set, and he was upset because he didn't like the way he heard he wasn't being portrayed well. And I get that, but there was an argument, and the deputies were on set, and they removed him. And there's an old OG guy there from Piru, and we later know his name Bones, but he told him, hey, let's go home. Let's meet me at Tam's, and we'll talk. So he agrees to that. But on the way, we find out later that there's multiple calls, 911 calls to the Compton desk related to a road rage incident between a silver Camry and a red Ford Raptor.
Yeah.
So so I get called because now there's a dead body. And I roll out with homicide. And I'm reviewing the video. I wasn't there, but you can see that, and it's been on TMZ. They've shown it. They've dodged out the horrible part, but they played it. You see Bones show up first, and he parks his car, and there's a little half wall dividing the parking lot to the sidewalk, and I think it's 137th. Anyway, he walks over to that little half wall where there's two gentlemen sitting there and starts talking to him. And right about that time, Suge's truck pulls into the drive-through, but he only gets the front wheels in the driveway, and he's in camera view, and Bones goes over, and the fight starts. And he's still sitting at the seat of his car. He's had enough at some point. He's trying to protect himself and slapping back and whatever, but Bones isn't a very big guy, but he backs out, and his wheels are still turned to the right because he did the turn, and so his wheels are still pointing to the right. So when he backs out, he just throws it in reverse, and Bones is standing in front of the mirror right at the door, slapping him, yelling at him, whatever he's doing. And as the truck backs up, he runs over Bones, and you can see it. He destroys his legs, breaks his hip. And instead of once he backs up and realizes what he did, of course, the two guys get up off the wall, start walking towards the guy in the street. Suge had the camera's good enough to see that instead of turning that wheel to the left and going eastbound 137th, I believe, he turns it more to the right to go back in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs over. So now you have one of the older gentlemen, bending over to render assistance to Bones, and Suge takes off, punches the gas, hits runs over Bones again and center punches the other man and kills him. And that started a firestorm of, I mean, you have the same two detectives that came out to this scene specifically. It wasn't supposed to be them, but they already had the One Oak shooting.
Yeah, the same guys.
So whoever their lieutenants are like, hey, let's switch. You guys roll. You already have all this stuff. It's all connected. Now, the interesting thing about that is, you remember we talked about the robbery with Cat Williams. That Cat Williams he really didn't have anything other than standing next to him when it happened. He didn't further the robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Suge's out on bail. So we mentioned the guy's name, and he takes off. Suge's gone. And you mentioned a guy earlier, Mike Cowett, who, believe it or not, he has a respectable relationship with Suge because he always treated him with respect. And you were saying, I remember from the get-go, they need to call Mike. And about 12 hours later, lo and behold, it's all over the news. The attorneys get involved. They reach out to Mike Cowett, who was at a homicide. Mm-hmm. And he told him, hey, turn yourself in at Compton Sheriff Station, and I'll be there with you. And he did. He met him there. He turned himself in.
But the other part that I wanted to bring up, but something else. The Cowett thing, little background on him. Every time Mike and I would go out, he was very easy to talk to. The gangsters loved him because he's a huge man.
Yeah, he's a big teddy bear.
Like 6'5" or something. But he would talk to everybody very, very kindly. And, he was a tough man, but believe me, he took care of business.
If he wanted to.
But most people respected the heck out of him. And remember, Suge's huge. He's a big man. So these guys are
not the same.
They're eye to eye.
Yeah.
So that cat and mouse I talked about before was Suge had ways of getting out of stuff always, and Mike had to figure out how to cut him off.
Right.
And I think Suge respected that. That Mike wasn't disrespectful in how he caught him.
Yeah. It was just business.
It was just and he was professional. Because I remember when he was dealing with how to get him for the things he had been doing. And it was hard because he was one step ahead. He had friendlies everywhere.
He was being told what was going on.
Yeah, oh my God. And Mike figured it out. And when he finally got him, I think Suge was like, okay, you must have been good at what you do because no one would have caught me but you.
Exactly.
So I think that's what I was talking about when I talk about Mike. I don't want to lessen Mike. He's amazing investigator.
That's why he turned himself in.
Amazing investigator.
Mike was going to be there.
Amazing investigator.
So he knew he would at least get a fair shake. And that's all we wanted. We're not, believe me, I got asked this so many times on the stand. You've been after my client for years. Look at all the FIs you have. That's because he was active, and I don't care. I don't care who did it.
Yeah, FI him all night long.
But all the evidence points to ding dong.
A field identification is when you contact him and make a little card up. I contacted him, and he was with these people, and he was driving this car. That's what a field ID is. And they would do, like when I was like, we would jam the same guy 3-4 times a night because they're out working. They're capering. So they would say, why did they just stop me? Well, I don't know if you changed your clothes. I don't know if you're with a different person. I don't have a different car. Because tomorrow if I find out something happened, I can look at my FI card and go, oh, blue car, this is what they look like. Oh, that's
You start reading cases and you find a blue card in FI, you start looking at, that's the car.
That's what I was screaming at Get all the time when I was at OSS. You guys think these FI cars aren't important. They solve so many damn cases. Yeah. I mean, I was the only investigator that would go into briefing. No OSS guys would go into briefing.
Yeah.
They just, we're busy. We're really busy, first of all. But to tell the guys, hey man, I need you guys to start FIing. I'm getting no FIs. How am I not getting no FIs in Norwalk?
Yeah.
You work the one ways. Yeah. You're not doing no FI. Yeah. What are you doing? You can't tell me you haven't content. Oh yeah, we talked to them. Write it down. Because I have all these cases and I'm trying to connect who's active. If you give me FIs, I know who's in the street at night, so I know these guys are active because a lot of people are gangsters. They're not active.
No, they're not playing.
They moved away. They get married. They just stop gangbanging. Mm-hmm. But the ones that are active, you're going to stop them going to 7-Eleven, gas station. You're going to stop them all night long. So the FIs, we go through them and go, okay, these guys are, what date are these guys out? And then we connect them to what date the stuff happened.
Right.
And then the guys in briefing go, no one from OSS shows up in briefing. Why not? That's part of your job. You need to get these guys, they're your eyes and ears. I can't be everywhere all at once. And that's what I love about these. I'm talking about Mike and Ronnie and all these guys. They knew that. That's why they were great at their jobs. There's certain investigators where you know their names. And I used to always complain. I said, I was at Tech Ops for 10, 11, almost 12 years. And there's some homicide investigators and DB guys and OSS I've never met.
Never met.
How do you do your job as an investigator and never walk into Tech Ops?
Well,
No, no. This is this is a
You want me to
question.
say it?
There is no way you're really handicapping yourself by not doing bugs, wires, trackers, phones, Perkins. What those are your? That's how you solve your cases. If I call Tech Ops and they get a confession from a Perkins, that case is closed. He's going to take the deal. The lawyer's going to say, "Here you are saying you did it." Now I can go to another case. So it's actually you're helping yourself get rid of your cases.
Mm-hmm.
If you're tired, you're saying, "I'm not going to Tech Ops because I'm bored and I'm tired, I'm lazy." Well,
When you have that case,
they'll help you get rid of your cases.
where you have all kinds of circumstantial evidence, you just don't have that one thing. And today, the DAs don't care if she said he did it. That's not enough.
No,
So when you hear them say, "Yeah, I killed that fool," in their own saying it themselves on recording, well, now you have enough.
Kurt offense. The little boy that they just was missing last week, and now they found out, or they
San Bernardino.
there's information that he confessed or he said he did it.
Yeah.
That's what the information is. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what's going on. That there's the rumor is he said something while he was in custody.
Right.
Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Without that, they got nothing.
Right.
Without that. So what I'm talking about is exactly that. They use what we do. Riverside? San Bernardino?
It's San Bernardino.
I mean,
I believe it's San Bernardino.
our unit perfected that shit. I'm going to brag about it all day. We perfected it. Those guys are using it. We gave it to the East Coast guys. They're using it. Without that, if that's true, what they're saying in the news that he said or he told someone he did it.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing but They had no body. They had no
They
evidence.
had nothing.
They probably would. Most of those
That's
guys,
not enough.
they're going to probably find out anyways. But I'm just saying that just shortened this case by half.
And what did it do? They have that information. Whether, like you said, we don't. That's what we're being told by the news. Well, now guess what they're going to do? They know where that guy's house delivered what.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but where it ends up,
they're going to have to go do the
go
dogs. They're going to take dogs.
Everything. And if they find that, guess what?
Yeah.
Good luck.
And without your CRI better be good.
Yeah.
He better be carded.
Well, there's we say
Riverside or San Bernardino, he better have some paper behind him.
What did we used to say? Well, we didn't say it. This is from the head DA over at Pomona now, and the guys that did Jerry's case, the Hawaiian Gardens, take down all that. What did he say? He's like, what we do, and we're not going to go into how we do it and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to do that. We don't want to burn what we do. But when we had to you made a video for our team, we had to sell ourselves to a particular sheriff at the time. Anyway,
dipshit. It wasn't the last one.
The DA said
it was someone else.
When this is out of his own mouth, having tried gang cases. He was a hardcore gang DA for many years. Never lost that I know of. But he said, absent of good quality evidence, you're not going to get a conviction. Enter the quality evidence of the suspect saying or you capturing it on tape doing it, it's dynamite to any defense. Yeah. There is no defense to that. Yeah. You can't defend. What'd you say? That's not you. It's you.
He said it's a death blow, basically, in a nutshell. It's your own words.
And what did Mark say? Mark Lilienfeld? 85% of all unsolved murders in Los Angeles County are solved by the tech ops. It's because you don't have it. You may have enough.
Well, they're the $1 million club. Before I got to that team, they were the $1 million club.
We're winning awards for stuff we don't calculate. We don't do that crap.
They had $1 million club when I got there in 2010. And
Explain what that is.
That's basically the county gives you an award for saving $1 million. Because they did
every million.
They did a number. What they do is they calculate how long it would have taken to investigate cases, and with the help of tech ops getting confessions and trackers and all this stuff, basically nailing them down to their cases. The cases were adjudicated or disposed faster.
Right.
So the man hours was the savings. We didn't have an investigator investigating a case for 5 years. You got a confession, it's done in 2 months. Mm-hmm. So all that money he would have been spent paying him to go chase these guys around for 2 or 3 years. Because how much? It's 3, 2, 4 years sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a zero.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a zero
there's
retention.
no retention.
Meaning, if these guys kills somebody today, and 200 years from now they find out he did it, if he was alive, which he's not going to be, they could try him.
So go back to I've never met guys. I don't. How do you do your case if you've never come in here and said, I want to get his confession. I want him to confess. I don't have anything. I want to hear him confess. You have to go to tech ops, and they'll give you a whole list of shit you can do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why we're saying this isn't about accolade. We've done our whole career with that. Most people don't. People hear this now and they're like, "What the hell did you do?" Family and friends are like, "What did you do?"
If we wanted accolades, we would have done it while we were doing it.
No,
this is something
the
different.
The point is, the reason we were asked to teach is because we were teaching other units across the country to do what we did.
Well, we started at trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at their training. We were at their trainings. They were trying to teach us something.
How many times did we finish the training?
Every time. And we went there to be trained, and then you and I would go on break, and we never disrespected. Like, these guys know. These guys are in the Stone Age. We talked amongst each other. But
Fred and Barney.
But then when they would ask, hey, do you guys have anything to add? We would explain how we do it, and we would give them examples. This is what we would do, and they just lose their mind.
Yeah.
We never thought of that. Or how do you guys do that? How do you get away with that? It's not a getaway. It's the law. You're within the law. Let me teach you the law that pertains to that one thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Title 18. If you're within Title 18 U.S. Code, you can do anything. Those are the rules. You know,
you need to learn a rule book.
You better read it.
And that's why that's what we keep going off on a tangent, but it all goes back to Suge, because all of those things that we had learned, even Mike Howett, you bring in Mike Howett trying to play cat and mouse with Suge, and he was trying to figure out how's he finding this stuff out. Well, when we got asked to help,
tell about the bus. Just tell about the bus.
So it was Mark Lilienfeld called you on it was on a weekend. We were off. Not that we're off. We're on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But we got called on a weekend. You did. And you called me because we were up. And you said, you got any plans on Mother's Day? And I said, well, not really. I mean, at that time, I didn't. But what's up? And you said, hey, we have to go do a special, but we have to do it on a bus, which is difficult because they're so loud inside, that all the metal clanging around.
Yeah.
And if it's full of inmates going to court, it's going to be they see any good looking girl in a car next to them, forget it. You're not going to get anything.
So when he went in there and you and I did it, it was hard to figure out because of the noise, but we stage everything. You got to figure out how to get the best audio with the worst circumstances, I guess, the worst environment. So you have to move them away from the engine first. You got to sit them here, and you got to do this, you got to do that. A lot of times what we do is go out and talk to your partner, have a cup of coffee, turn everything off, turn it all off, turn the bus off, turn the car off, turn the van off, turn whatever you
walk away.
Just walk away, go talk to your buddy over there. Don't park it by the guy mowing the lawn.
What was it? Get 50 feet away? We don't want to hear about what you did last weekend.
Because what we do and what we're going to deploy can hear you outside, like 50 feet away, 20 feet away, and you're talking about your weekend or your girlfriend. Mm-hmm. It's going to come up on tape, and we're not separating it. We don't separate tape. Whatever comes out on tape is there. You got to live with it because it's evidence. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I did all that, but you park next to the gardener, and he's mowing the lawn. We can't hear anything because they're so sensitive. Our mics are so sensitive, they're going to pick up a whisper. So something loud is going to overwhelm the whispers.
Yeah. And just like your cell phone.
And even though they're alone, they're still going to whisper.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to hear it like they're screaming. But they're always going to whisper. So the staging was a big thing. When he got on that bus and we got him talking to smack, I mean, I was surprised, dude. I was surprised at how good the audio came out.
Again, we just said, what's the best thing? What's the best evidence you could get?
Your own voice.
You on the video killing someone or talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had that.
Yeah.
It's no denying it's him behind the wheel of the truck.
It was what he was trying to do to get out of it again. He was doing his mic thing. I'm going to figure out how to get out of this. And he got out. He used to get out of it.
And this is how I'm going to hurt some feelings right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I said at the last
Dan
episode.
Leicht hurt feelings?
Oh,
never.
I said in the last episode, as we started our career, this is everybody. This isn't just you and I. Mm-hmm. Maybe more so for us because we fought the department at one point in our career, all the way up. And it at some point, it switched. We used to be dealing with most of our career. We dealt with gang members or the really dark side of life.
Yeah.
For at least 20 years. And it was always known that there's your enemy. Point. It's not hard, right? But if you treat everybody with respect, keep your eyes open, keep your hands safe, keep their hands safe, you'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
Later on, through that 20, 25 years, you start realizing my biggest foe is my actual department.
Certain people.
So not just our department, but that goes with the entire structure of it.
Yeah.
So at some point, after that started, so on Mother's Day, we go in and do what we do. That's what happens when you have a 365, 24-hour day job.
Yeah.
And that had to be done. You can't do them with them sitting in the seat. It doesn't work that way.
No.
So we did our thing, and homicide takes it from there. After that, we didn't need him to say, man, I ran over that fool for... We didn't need him to... It's right there on tape. We didn't need that.
Yeah.
So people out there listening, what do you think we were trying to do?
We're trying
to catch the mouse, the cat and mouse game that was already occurring in this case.
He was an expert at getting out of stuff.
Everything.
He's a very smart man.
He's smart.
Super smart man. He's very good at manipulating
Conniving,
people.
yeah, very manipulative.
And putting people in the right places. And he's people think, oh, he's just he's just a rapper, whatever they want to call him, or a mogul. No, the guy is very, very intelligent. And the reason why he was out, he should have never been out even that long. All the stuff he's done in his life, and he knows it. He'll tell you.
He'll tell you. Yeah.
But
I can't believe this one caught me.
He knew the time was, what do you call it? The clock was ticking. Yeah. He was going to get caught. But he did everything. It wasn't that he wasn't guilty. It wasn't that it was obvious. It was, I can get out of this still if I can muddy the damn water. I can figure out how to do this with witnesses. I can do that with that. I can get lawyers, whatever I want to do. I'm going to figure out how to make this. It's like when you did an interview at OSS. My first thing I would tell everybody is, if a person in a suit walks in here or a uniform, you might go home.
Yeah. But
if a person in a green jacket walks in with a little clip on my collar, you're going to prison. It's just a fact. You are going to prison. You're not going home. For it to get to me and my desk, you're going to prison. This interview is all about how much time you're going to do. That's all it's about. It's not that you're not going to do time. Your job is to lessen your blow. Because I'm going to do a 186.22 on you, and I'm going to enhance the shit out of you.
33.
That's why OSS is born, to do enhancements. Mm-hmm. RDB could do it. I'm not saying it's bad that they're weaker. No, that's not their job. Our job was to take a gangster with a gun and enhance him. And because we could prove he was a gangster, and he did it because he was a gangster, we get more time.
Those are all laws on the books that people just don't use.
So if you think you're going to walk out here because the last guy that got in here let you just slide, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to enhance the hell out of you. Suge Knight knew when Mike rolled up with his green jacket, he's not dealing with somebody who's just going to try to push it off or give it to the filing clerk and just not even look at it. You know how they do it, sign it. He was going to have to pay a price. So I think he enjoyed the fight. I think he enjoyed the
cat and mouse.
I'm going to beat you guys. And he won sometimes.
I mean, that's what he came from. He came from fighting in the street, man. His whole life was trying to,
Well, we were both born in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, you were. Well, and so back to where this leads. So we do that, and prior to that, he's in custody now. But prior to that, I did the Tams case.
Mm-hmm. You got to talk about what happened after.
While I'm reviewing the video at Tams, this is the thing, and rest in peace, John Carina.
Oh, John.
I'm downloading, and I'm watching the live screen because at homicide, everybody's there. Mm-hmm. Guys covered up, corners on the way, blah blah blah, and I see John Carina walk through in his suit, and I yell out the back door. The door's open. He can't see me. He doesn't know I'm back here. And I yell, "Hey, John, come here." And you see John like, what the hell? Looking around, and come in the back door. So he comes in, you got to watch this. So I replay it. And he goes, "Oh, you got it." And I said, "Oh, this is murder one." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Really?" And I played the part where he had the opportunity
to leave,
to turn the wheel left, and he didn't. He turned it right to go back in the driveway.
That's the decider right there.
So he's like, "Son of a bitch." So that there goes that, right? And now the next thing is, for the next 12 or 18 hours, whatever it was, they needed to turn him. They were trying to get him to turn himself in, much like the OJ thing. Mm-hmm. Now, he never did that thing where he threw all that crap, but he did. he met Cowat and his attorneys and Barry Hall and Rich Biddle at Compton, I believe it was. But after that, he's in custody. And so immediately, as you know, we don't do this often. We usually have a little bit of time. But I rolled back to the office from Compton, and I took it, and they wanted it right now.
They wanted it now.
So I burned it onto a disc.
Yeah.
So that drive didn't even make it into my laptop. There was no need to. I mean, I played it, but that's it.
You always play it to see if you got it.
Yeah. So I left, went back to the office, burned a disc, set the thing aside, put it in the safe. Okay, they show up, give it to them. We're already preparing for trial. Many years have gone by. I don't know, how long did that take? 2-3 years?
Yeah.
So and it didn't stop. What we do, it doesn't stop.
24/7.
It's 24/7, and we'll get to that. But it's 24/7. I mean, do we have multiple crimes here that have occurred? Some he's a victim of, and some he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I'm in the office, and Rich Biddle comes in, and he says, we had a meeting with the defense attorney and the judge or whatever in chambers today or whatever, pre-trial conference or whatever it was. And the defense attorney, now he had many attorneys at that time. He had one guy and a couple other guys on. He had quite a few attorneys. And they're going to file a motion that you falsified the video. Now, mind you, when I was leaving Tams, the owner was so scared.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and Karina was with me at the time.
They all are.
Lieutenant Karina. Told him, I said, look, just tell him it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what?
Or they took it.
Honestly, that's not a lie. You have several cameras that are out.
Yeah.
They're not recording. You have we could have been a better one, but the one we got still showed it. So he did that. Why did he do that? Because the very next day TMZ showed up, and they offered him a shit ton of money to give him the video. And he told him, the sheriffs were here and they couldn't get it. My system's been broke. So they left. Now that's an important statement.
That's huge.
So fast forward, and it's been months. I mean, we might even been into a year now. But anyways, they're getting ready for trial. And that little page of evidence that we had against him is now a book, getting to be a book.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in, Rich Biddle comes in, and he says, hey, just to let you know, they're going to file some stuff on you because they think you doctored the video. And he goes, so I hope you can prove. And I'm like, whoa. And Rich, I think, was just as stunned as I was. I love Rich. Rich is a good dude. Don't get me wrong. I think Rich was trying to figure out in his mind, how the hell are we going to? So he comes to me, and I said, the first thing I said, and you're right, I was like, what? Okay. I'm sitting there stunned for a minute, which to take Dan's mouth away is kind of weird. But anyways, the first thing I said to him was, so now I have to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying they're going to charge me or try to get me charged? Shouldn't we did this, remember? Did you pull the, we're the victims. Why would we do anything?
It's his MO, muddy up the
waters.
And Dan Leicht was going to be the mud.
Well, and go back, everybody. What's the number of people that watched the OJ case?
Yeah.
That's all they did in that trial. You know, you were in it.
I was telling you.
And so he says to me, you better figure out what you're going to do. And I said, me? I said, here. And I walked over and I grabbed the flash drive that was in an envelope in the safe. And I said, here, why don't you give that to Quantico? Let the FBI look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let them do. I'm not going to let it.
You can investigate yourself anyways.
Yeah, I have nothing to hide. That's been in the safe since I gave it, since I burned the disc. So there's been a disc. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been, and this gets more important in a minute. And the flash drive, and it's been in the safe ever since. So I gave it to him, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't even. They do that?" I'm like, "Yes, they do. I know we don't use them much for that, but they can at least for computers, white collar crime. They're fantastic at." So I said, "Give it to them. They'll write a report on it. They'll know exactly what computer and how much has been done. They'll analyze the video.
They know how to get trails.
Yeah, they'll know that it's whether it has or hasn't been put in a video editor, all that crap. Because what they were saying is, when Bones walked over to the truck and started slapping on Suge, punching him, and everybody saw it. Not well, most people saw it, because at that point they dodged out the murder, but you could see him fighting in the car, back and forth. One out of the car, one in the car. They said he had a gun in his hand. Suge said he had a gun in his hand, and that gun's not there anymore, and that I dodged it out. Wow. Damn, I'm good. That was a bad tape. I mean, the video wasn't great, but
they're all bad tape.
Even you, I don't think you would have made all of that look that good. So anyway, I tell him, let's give it to Quantico. And he goes, all right. So there it goes. Well, then he comes back, and I can't remember the timing in between. And now TMZ is showing it. And we know it's TMZ because they stamped it.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back to me, and he said, they're going to want to look at your bank records. And I really almost pulled this right out of my back pocket.
Do you remember when I had to mess with you, dude? I know the whole story, but I had to mess with you. Said you better hide your Ferrari, bro.
You did, and that didn't help. That did not help.
Come on, you got to make something.
I know
it's bullshit, but I had to mess with you a little bit.
And I at the time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, at the time I believe Samantha was in college in her undergrad, and I looked at him and I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so you think, first of all, we don't. I said, you do.
Don't hit me.
You do remember we don't have the USB?
Yeah.
I gave it to you.
Yeah.
And the only other copy, which you should have had your evidence people make, is another copy of it, book one, and you keep one for your murder book.
Well, DVD is a 1-to-1 copy.
Yeah.
DVD is different than VHS. If you make a copy of a DVD, it is exactly the other DVD.
Exactly. So you can make 1,000 of them, and they're
so
all
in
gonna
evidence,
be the same.
and we're talking about court. If I make copies, it's all the same. I can't make copies of anything else for court, but a DVD is considered 1-to-1 exact replicate.
So he had a DVD, which I made him, which they need to show the DA.
Yeah.
They should have made a copy. They have guys that do that for him.
The guy over there, I'm sure, did.
Yeah, and so kept it in the murder book.
Yeah.
And book one and do what they do.
Yeah.
And the only other one I gave you, I didn't make copies of it. Why? Because I knew this shit was going to happen. So now they're saying, well, they're saying they paid $50,000 for that video. TMZ did. Now again, TMZ is our friend.
They get their business. They're trying to make.
They're
making clickbait.
But people don't know this, and I'm gonna break it right now.
Uh-oh.
So they were going to bring in an expert because I was going to be the expert for that case if it ever went to trial.
Mm-hmm.
And for, how we download, and it's not just haphazard. We actually do it scientifically, the way to do it, all that stuff. It's 1-to-1. We don't degrade the video. We don't do any of that stuff. There's things we do. And so Biddle comes back, and I told Bill at the time, let me go back to the money. I told Bill at the time, so let me get this straight. Those dumbasses actually believe that I would take $50,000 and cut my knees off with the job that I have in my retirement and paying for my daughter's college for $50,000. You better have a hell of a lot more money than that.
Yeah.
I mean, for stupid, simple things, right? And he's like, oh, I get it. I said, what? First of all, I don't have a copy of it. And he's like, well, can you prove that? Again, Quantico, that's what they're doing. So fast forward to now we're getting ready for trial. He's come to me. This is who their expert is. Okay. And do you know what they gave him? You know what the defense gave him as the video?
But tell everybody else.
In order to play that video, TMZ had to put it in a video editor, and they changed some stuff. They lightened some stuff, and they changed some stuff, and they went all in on making this thing because they got a lot of mileage out of that video. He only reviewed that video, and he put all of what they changed on your detective, which was me. And I read it. I don't know how many times I read it, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
No, our shit is always the original. It's hashed. It's always the original. We don't mess with copies. We never mess with copies.
You're going to love this. So I actually think you did it.
Oh, shit.
After that.
What'd I do?
Well, you just looked at it.
Okay.
You knew that we got a copy of that, and we saw everything that they did because they were putting arrows in. This is where the gun was.
You can tell when it's been. I'm not going to say how, but you can tell.
You can
tape it or
leaves
videos
a digital footprint,
everything
or
does.
a fingerprint.
Everything.
So
does.
Quantico's finally comes back, right? And we had proved that the video. So he says in his Quantico's report comes back. I get that, and it says, this flash drive was plugged into 2 computers.
Yeah.
One was Tech Ops, which was my laptop, and one was 291, which was my computer at the office.
Yeah.
And there was a DVD burned. And that's the only 2 places this flash drive has been in 6 months.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're done.
So, and I didn't have the stuff. I didn't have the other copies of them. Now, and this proves it. I'm gonna blow them all out of the water. And the point of this is, who were we actually working for? Who were we actually trying to get evidence on? Was it Suge? Of course it was Suge Knight. But there were other suspects in that case.
It was a way bigger story.
And they were sitting right next to him. And I'm going to tell you how they got that freaking video. So I have to protect myself, and I start reading the report from their expert, and I realize that whether he realized it or not, maybe he didn't know. It's quite possible he didn't know, but he says that I get a video, and when you first play it, it's got TMZ's logo on it. Well, that's not the original.
Nope.
So his entire voir dire on the expertise of what I did to that video is what TMZ did to that video to play it and point out the areas that there were issues. Yet that video had never been in a video editor until
not
TMZ
admissible
touched
in
it.
court at all. It's thrown out.
Well, the crazy thing is I told Rich Biddle, I put them both down, and I said, you read them. And he read them, and he goes, oh, fuck. and I go, do you understand now? And he goes, son of a bitch, that dude, we don't know if he did that on purpose or he didn't realize what video he watched.
Do you remember I worked court services for 3 years, brother? Nothing's by accident.
No, I don't know that man. Never met him before in my life. But I will say that the next pretrial conference they had, my name was quickly dropped from the docket.
Of course.
Remember, we started off this conversation as you go through your career, you find out that it's not so much the people in the street as it is the people around you.
Yeah.
They're trying to control you. So that particular person, we didn't do this. We just are reading through the tea leaves, and then we find out what happened. He got fired. One of his attorneys got fired very shortly after the start.
Well, Suge should pay his bills.
Right?
That's as far as I'll say.
So what did he do?
He sold it.
He sold it. And you know, the interesting thing is that I'm not saying he did it.
Someone sold it.
It went through.
Yeah.
We have a really good idea who did.
Yeah, we know exactly
who did it.
But
it didn't make it. That copy that they had was a legitimate evidentiary copy.
Yeah.
So the new attorneys that come on board, I asked Biddle, have you seen that video? Have you seen the disc in their murder book? Why? Because if it doesn't match what your guys did, that's a copy of the. Now, like you said, it's still a good copy, the digitally 1-to-1, but that copy is not the original that they were given.
A label with the numbers and everything serialized. It's evidence. We treat it like it was blood.
Dude, that's a felony, bro.
Yeah, of course it is. But I watched you just want to kill people.
Well, I mean, well, if they didn't win.
No.
I mean, it's the fight that I have in me is the reason we drugged them back through the coals, and their expert got kicked off the case.
Yeah, Rich is a good man. He just didn't know how to deal with it because it's technical stuff.
Well, he didn't understand. I mean,
he's a really great investigator, good man, on a good team. He had a great team out there. But when we dealt with him, I'm just going to go back to one thing. What he was doing by you dealing with that was exactly what he'd been doing when we were dealing with OSS. And he got away with it before.
Oh, you mean Suge?
Yeah. So drag Dan through the dirt.
Yeah.
Destroy the evidence. Now the video's out.
Yep.
And I get off and I go home. You beat his ass. The reason he's in prison is because of you. Because if they didn't fix that with the video, it would have been admissible. Everything would have been admissible. What they said happened. The gun, they would have dirtied up the water. Oh, there was a gun and he took it out. And then half the jury would have said, "No, it's possible. Cops are bad. Defund the police, whatever." Muddying the water so you don't see the truth. That's what I'm talking about holding a Hobbs to the end. You get the real case. You don't get all the stuff he's going to try to bring in. That's what I love about a clean case. You gave him a clean case, and he couldn't. He can't beat a clean case.
No, the FBI cleaned it because not only did it say it didn't go into any other computer.
Yeah,
it
but if you
wasn't
didn't
in
fight for it, they would have just done it.
Right,
If you didn't tell Biddle to send it to Quantico, it would have never happened.
Right, but it also said,
and you'd have been looking at trouble.
Yeah, it had not been placed in it. There's no evidence of
no.
Video
It gives
editor.
you the trail. It
Exactly.
gives you the exact.
It tells you
date, time,
Photoshop. It'll
tell you what software
whatever.
was.
Yeah.
It'll load into. I mean, we do this stuff. So they did what they do. They did what we do, but you can't do it for yourself.
So now
you had to get an impartial outside agency to tell them the same thing you would have told them, but it can't be you because it's going to look like you're dirty.
I'm the suspect.
Yeah.
So what that did for us by going through Quantico, when you put the two side by side, the two reports, Quantico's and their expert, he caught everything that they did, but I didn't do that. That was TMZ. And what we proved is what we gave the lawyers. They had an original copy as evidence given to them by the DA, as they're supposed to legally. The video that they gave their expert was the one that was doctored by TMZ.
They know what the original was, and they gave them the one that would make them look better.
Yeah,
and that's
all they were trying to do is muddy the water.
TMZ, they're a business. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get sensational video, that kind of stuff. And when we came out on TMZ for Justin Bieber. I mean, that's what I thought you were going to be famous. I thought you were going to go viral, man. When I saw you walking down the street,
you mean I got 15,000 for my ass? Damn, dude, I haven't got $5 for my ass.
You were sashaying down the street, man. I could have swore you'd have a fan club by the end of that video.
I can't help it, man. I look like at that time. I looked like Captain Morgan, dude. So, bottom line, at the end of that, what happened? Case. Well, everybody that they had to refute. I'm bad, orange man bad, like they say.
Well, everybody
white guy's bad.
But everybody who did something wrong paid for it. Suge went to prison.
Yeah.
The people who did the video thing lost their jobs.
You remember what we were told? Hey, you want to come? We're going to have a pre-trial. They're going to give up the old attorney is going to, and they wanted us to be there. And we're like, nah, we're not going. We don't ever do that crap. Nope. We're not going. But it came back, and they actually arraigned him in court. It was on purpose. Yeah. Everybody show up. We want the two attorneys to be nice to each other. Judge wants to make sure you give all that stuff. He didn't know he was going
to be arraigned. He thought he was still the lawyer.
Yep.
He walked out of there as a suspect.
Yep. What ended up happening is there was no trial. There wasn't a trial.
No,
because once they sat down, all right, we're going to go at you one more time. We're going to give you a deal. This is what we got, and slid it across the table.
Yeah, and he took it.
An evidence page usually has 25 pieces of evidence, double spaced, right? There was 29 of those, 29 pages for that court case. And when he saw that, he took a 30-year deal.
He finally got caught, or finally has to pay for what he's done.
Well, his cat and mouse,
he lost. A long time, brother. Yeah. And it was a combination of you, Biddle, Mike.
It was them guys.
Mike. It was great. It was great. You guys did a great job.
You put people in a fight or flight mode, and fighting's
No, so when they questioned your integrity, I thought, oh man, take his gun. I gotta take the bullets out of Dan's gun.
Somebody give him some popcorn,
because that's all you got.
Yeah, that's especially that job. I mean, like we've said, we've walked into places and people just sit down and
shit their pants.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget the look on the watch commander's face when we were leaving CJ after we broke in, and he's like, "How come I didn't get?" Because we didn't tell anybody.
A certain captain was yelling at us at NCCF that he's supposed to be notified when we come in his facility, and what were you doing in his facility, and blah blah blah. And then I said, "Call this number," and he looked at me. After he got off the phone, I heard him like, "Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir." Hangs up the phone, just walked right by me. I'm like, "What? You're not gonna say sorry, dude? I've known you for 20 years. You're gonna be a jerk." It's not me.
We're a tool.
Our job wasn't to.
We were a very well-pointed tool,
but it wasn't. We weren't looking to make the captain look bad.
No.
And the only reason the captain found out is a certain lieutenant cried that we were there and she saw us.
Remember what we just said. Who were the biggest problems? Not the biggest problem, but a huge problem in the Suge case was the people right next to him. And it's the same over here. I'm not saying that we're any better or any less, but it's the same on our side.
Yeah.
And we didn't know who to trust sometimes.
It's hard that way because you want to trust people. You want to just be, everybody's cool. I can trust you all, but you're always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And our job was to, I guess, get into places where no one wanted to go and to come out with a result that's probably going to be really bad for someone. Most of it, 90%, 99% was criminals, but sometimes it was internal.
Most of it was where they didn't want to go. Most of the places where they couldn't go.
Like when we did the one at CJ, and we had to deal with that stuff that were with the parking structure. Internal sucks, but some people just can't get out of their own way. I mean, a certain person was warned 5 times, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they call us. Like, man, we shouldn't be here, but you don't listen. Someone's trying to warn you. You're doing something wrong. Don't do it anymore. Now they're going to call us to prove you're doing it still, and you're going to lose your job.
You got to be good and lucky. And that day we were really lucky.
Oh, my God. We were leaving.
We were really lucky.
We were leaving. Dan, go. I think you're going to the restroom. Like, oh, shit, there he is. I think you pulled out your little recorder and started recording. Handheld. That was luck. Bad luck for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times you have to be said no.
Well, the other one I was getting was Justin and TMZ. And I was just talking about how they asked us to be part of the freaking service. I mean,
Service of the warrant, yeah.
we're dressed down, beards and no uniform. All right, we just throw the little badge over our chest and walk up to his house. TMZ captures you walking down the street. And
well, actually, it wasn't even TMZ. It was where he lived at the time.
It was a neighbor with a car.
Eddie Murphy's ex-wife's house. That's the house he was renting.
I thought it was Lionel Richie's ex.
No, that was the Oak.
Oh, that was the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that? That was the. But anyway,
that's another one. You're right.
He was renting that house, and he had a 6-car garage, and he had a pretty robust security system. And they had been chasing him on some shit he'd been doing up in that. But he was up in the Oaks in the gated community, and once you get up to a certain level, you have to have a code to get in and everything else. And we went in with, was it Malibu? I can't remember.
Lost Hills.
Yeah. Anyway, we were asked to go in specifically for that security stuff, and because he had been accused of a crime, one of the dumbest crimes.
Throwing eggs at a guy's house, man.
The only thing you can say about that is people are like, what the hell? And that's what we said. However, it's a very, very expensive community, and that guy's house was Venetian plaster. And I know your good friend Ivan, he'd know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge house. So they actually put, and I happen to know a little bit about it because I went to art school, but they actually put the pigment in the stucco. So it's a one-time shot.
And the door was like $20,000.
Yeah. So when you egg something like that and you let it dry and all that, it destroyed the color of you had to replaster the entire house. So it's ridiculous, but we went. But there's never a dull moment, I tell you, with your dumb ass. It's always you. I'm saying it's always you.
Everyone that knows you is saying you're the shit mag. It's not
so
me.
We get in and we're like, okay, we're not doing this. You and I had been over 800 services at OSS. I mean, come on, we weren't going in. We were going to go in once it was clear. But big house, so they didn't have quite enough people, so they asked us to cover. There's a courtyard when you walk into that home. There's a front door right in front of you, and there's double French doors over to the right.
The doors.
So I took the door, and you took the French doors, and they go in through the garage. They detain it. Now what they don't tell us at first until we get there. It takes us forever to get through security.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in uniform. They wouldn't even open the damn gate. So, but he has an armed security guard sitting at a desk in one of the garages, right? So they walk up, and this dude opens the drawer where the gun is, and they put that dude down. I mean, they didn't shoot him, but it was tense there for a second. And like, you're fucking arms. But what the hell is he thinking? These are all rental cops from Hollywood? I don't know what the hell.
Nah, his security was his friends, dude.
They're all gangsters, and
dude, they were from the gang. They were gangsters.
Yeah. We'll tell you that.
They weren't security.
Yeah, we'll tell you some of his chaperones that showed up later. But so they're making their way through. They got stuck there for a minute in the garage, detaining him because he had a gun in the drawer that he opened. And so it took a minute. So we're over in no man's land by ourselves. But you and I trust each other. Everybody dies if it goes to shit. So I'm standing at the door, fully thinking that the door's going to open, like ding dong, Yeah. But it doesn't open. But I look over at you, and you're like, Dad. I'm like, well, I look over, and the door's opening, and this dude falls out. I didn't even know the door was open. First of all, I wasn't standing all the way over there. It looked like a window. Yeah, but it was like French doors, and it was a little black dude. He just kind of he just kind of rolled out and fell on the ground right in front of you, and I'm like, what the hell did you do? But he was all, and of course, and then nothing but weed smoke comes flying out the door,
And he falls out of my feet. I see the door open. It's slow motion. So I had my gun on, of course. He falls on my feet, and he's kind of like dazed. He looks up and we could just lie there. Don't move. Just lie there. And I put out.
I think he went back to sleep.
I went detained and out the window, code 4, whatever. He just laid there, and he didn't even try. He just gave up. It's like he rolled out of bed, and I was there. It's really weird. But he lands on the floor at my feet, and I look at you like, because usually we're running by this time, right? Or something. Yeah. Something's going on. But he just laid there. Okay, whatever. And it ended up, I think, that being little Za or little Z.
Yeah, something like that. Apparently, we didn't know this, but that room that he fell out of was turned in. It was like a den or whatever, but it was turned into his studio.
A recording studio.
Yeah, recording studio, which I get. I mean, the guy makes music, so I don't know if he was doing his own session that night and just fell asleep in there.
There was some stuff going on.
There was stuff going on. We're not going to talk about, but they made their way in. They got there. I don't know. They detained like 7 or 8 people, and including Justin. But at this time. There was the whole breakup with the Selena Gomez.
But
and
the
all
running,
stuff.
you could just hear when he hit the door. You just hear running through the whole house.
He had it was like what would you call that? It was like a banister, but it was like get up the stairs and
it goes all the way around.
All the way around. There was a banister with rooms up the upstairs, and there were people running all around. And
I remember he was cocky as hell. I mean, he was just chipping to the uniforms. He was just chipping.
You stopped that.
Yeah, he needs to act right. But when you grabbed his phone,
well, they have them all detained, and they're sitting around the coffee room table or a bar or whatever it was, and I come in, and
you could have heard a pin drop.
I walk in. You're dealing with the surveillance system, and I walk in asking for a dog run, and they all look at me like, I don't have a dog. No. Where's all the? Have you guys found? I have asked the deputies. Have you guys found as you're searching,
like
you
a
found
control
closet
room,
with all the equipment and all that stuff in it? And they're like, yeah, there's one around there. So I go over there, and it doesn't look like it's connected to that particular system. So now I'm looking around, but I hear one of his friends tell him, they come out, and one of them, I don't know if it's a lieutenant or one of the IOs, he sets his phone down, and they look at him, and he's like, is that yours? And he goes, yeah. So they're like, cool, we got his phone. Well, they knew from somewhere that they probably lived on its phone on the video. We've seen the video, we pulled it, but they probably lived on his phone too. And they walk away. I walk away. I'm going to go upstairs looking for another dog run. And when I come back down to talk to I was upstairs in his room, in Justin's room, and one of the IOs comes up and he goes, hey, we just overheard him say that that's not the phone. He was all sweating it, and his friend told him, what the fuck, dude? Who cares? You got naked pictures of Selena on your phone. Big deal. I'm not going to put them out. And he goes, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not the phone, though. And so he comes up and tells me that. So I'm looking. The bed's it's all disheveled. I mean, I don't know how many people are in that damn bed, but there's stuff everywhere, and I find a remote control. And I start hitting buttons on the remote control, and a TV comes out of the ceiling. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I hear bzz, 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 bzz. And of course it's all over TMZ already.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't TMZ that took a video of us going driving. It was somebody driving by, and she immediately, I mean, before we even left, she sold it to TMZ.
She's probably sold so much stuff in the neighborhood.
I know, $15,000. She's probably the one that sold when Deion Sanders got mad at him for driving around the house. But anyway, so I'm looking for what's the source of the buzzing, and I find it, and it's a cell phone. And
it's the cell phone.
The cell phone. And I didn't know what that meant, but I do now.
You poor Mandy, right?
Yeah. So I walked downstairs, and I told the IO before I get down there, find some aluminum foil. And he goes down, and to ask Justin, hey, where's your aluminum foil? And he said, what aluminum foil? And the lieutenant had told us, if these guys smart off or say some stupid shit, don't say a damn thing. I got 6 months ago to retire. I'll say it.
I remember that.
Remember that? I'll say it.
I remember
and he gets attitude, and the lieutenant goes, hey, Gimpy, tell him where the fucking foil is. And it's over in the drawer somewhere. So he gets me foil. And I before I wrapped it, I walked into the room, and I set it down, and I took my time because they were in handcuffs. What are they going to do, right? And the reason we do that, for people not understanding at home. There is a thing that you can purchase that's called a Faraday cage. And that means if you put your phone in it or your keys in it with a fob, it can't transmit out once it's in that, cage.
Or receive.
Mm-hmm. So, and why is that important on a phone? If you have an app on your phone and you call your mom and say, Mom, remember that number I told you about, going to that app and punch that number in, it will burn your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Burns everything in it.
Yeah.
So we didn't want that to happen. Not saying that he had that, but we didn't know. So if you wrap it in aluminum foil, it makes a quasi Faraday cage.
Poor man's Faraday.
Yeah. So that's what we did. But we made sure we did that right in front of him.
Yeah.
So I gave it to the IO, wraps it up, it's good to go, puts it in his car, seals it or secures it.
And you don't turn it off.
Yeah. Leave it where it's at. And I leave. I leave and go back and help you. And then they come out again. And now we're outside and it's already, you're doing your thing and it's doing its thing. And now we're standing there talking. And one of the IOs comes out and he goes, he is scared because apparently there's stuff on there. And he goes, it's freaking eggs, dude. You know, he's like, we know what it is. We know what he did. We just need the video for court. Well, apparently there was a hell of a lot more than that. We didn't find that out till later.
Maybe.
But,
But then that SUV comes down the street at 100 miles an hour.
So we're like, whatever, dude. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're not investigating that case, short of being, some pretty heinous stuff. It doesn't matter what's on this one. You can have whatever on there as long as it's not illegal. And obviously it wasn't because, he got busted for the egg thing and that was about it.
Yeah.
But as we're standing there talking to the IO, here comes a Cadillac Escalade. I mean, to the nines. This car, it was nice.
Yeah.
The wheels and all blinged out. And it's flying down the street. And you and I are standing there. The car comes flying up, this Escalade, and it bounces into the driveway. And these these guys look like they played linemen for some professional team, but they're tatted from head to toe. Two black men. They jump out.
2 is 4.
Yeah, wow. The only two that really mattered was the two big dudes that got out of the front of the car.
Yeah.
And of course, training takes over.
Hard, boy.
Yeah, the training takes over, and they looked like he was going to straight up go in and try to lynch him. I mean, they were going to run in the house. Well, you're not going to run we're in a search warrant, dude. You're not coming in the house. And I just remember that guy looking right through me, and he said, "We're going to go in and get there." And I said, "You're going to do it with a hole in your head."
Yeah, you're going to do it on the ground. Get on the
fucking ground. And they looked and they realized, look at the badge, dummy, because we weren't in uniform.
No.
And it wasn't until the deputies walked out that they realized, oh, this isn't. I think they may have thought
we're narcs.
Yeah, something, or whatever, trying to jack him.
No, but they went straight. Felony freaking pullover. Get on the floor. Let me see your hands. You're gonna come out like that. I'm not wasting my time trying to talk to you. Man.
No. And this is the thing is I think there's 3 layers of security. When you get to the very top of the Oaks, it's hard to get in. We couldn't get in. And here, they pull right in.
And I was mad because there was a car, one of our cars at the corner, and they let them by. Yeah. They let them in. And I yelled at somebody for that. Like, why would you let, they said they were security. None of them had credentials. They were just guys who he said, you're going to be my security. You know how they do. They have their entourages. And these guys roll up like, for a minute, they thought they were security. It's like, because Justin says there's security, we can do what we want like security. No. I know you're from here, you're from there, because I can tell by your ink.
We know where you're from.
Down. I don't know if you're strapped, and they probably were. But remember, we treated them like anybody else that would roll up hard.
I mean...
And then I think it was his uncle, hey, they're so...
I don't really care who they are. You don't get to walk in.
I get to finish my shit, and then you can come over and walk them in.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the thing is, look at where that could have gone, but look where it started. It's overthrowing eggs because they got drunk.
That's the point of that whole story was we thought, we're just going to retrieve some video. It turned into guy falling out a window and your phone thing, and you ended up being the big one because they were trying to open that phone for a long time because it was an Apple. And it ended up being a big deal because Apple wouldn't open it.
No.
And they had to send it all these different places. We had nothing to do with the phone opening. We didn't do anything with that. But you recovered it. They actually recovered it and put in evidence. But you found it. That had nothing to do with us. But it was in the news how Apple was trying to say, no, we don't open up phones.
Well, it set a precedent.
Yeah, and now they have to open up.
Yeah, well,
when there's a warrant.
We know where it went.
We know what happened.
Yeah, we know it. We know what was in it,
but that came later.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny how those things happen because you remember it was shortly after that there was a San Bernardino terrorist attack with the guy.
He didn't want to open the phone again.
And he killed all those people.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't open his phone.
Yeah.
He has a right to private. Really?
No.
So the same thing. I mean,
you're doing business in this country. I went to that training in Utah. You're doing business in this country, federal law and all this stuff. That all changed after 9/11, 9/11. You want to sell phones, you have to give access to law enforcement. It's just the way it is. You can't. There's no where a company can make us open shit.
Yeah.
No. Your phone is your your phone will be your downfall if you don't understand what it does.
And it says right, you do realize that if you do something stupid and it's on that phone, it's our phone. We don't need your permission.
It's theirs.
They still wouldn't do it.
I know, but that was for another reason.
Yeah,
that's a huge story. But no, man. I mean, I would love to get because we're talking about phones. I would love to get Michelle in it. I mean,
Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because she will scare the shit out of everybody on this freaking.
Well, and that's what did it to us. I mean, I'll briefly. I remember every training that we did. The last 5 minutes was always dedicated to phones.
Yeah.
And I remember a training, a particular, we got one day, we had a new sergeant and I was training Steve King. And our sergeant came in and said, hey, I just got hit up by the captain or somebody. Yeah, it was our captain. There's a training thing over at the Anaheim Convention Center. I can't remember the group.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a huge national conference.
Well, it started with like 10 people in the room.
Well, it's a huge conference. So they had like breakout rooms. They had like maybe 15 to 20 breakout rooms for different things. You could, and once you went to the conference, you got to see what was up that day, and you could go to whichever one you wanted to learn about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was attorneys there, there were DAs there, there were cops there, all kinds of people. Anyway,
it was packed.
So we were teaching some of the stuff we wouldn't go into because they didn't have clearance. But I remember I'm starting to teach. I'm teaching, and you're running the all the boards and everything, doing all the thing, and you did teach too. But you were running everything, and when I screwed up, you fixed me, and then we went on our way. Mm-hmm. And it was a room that had like 10 people in it. That was about it. It was early. We taught like I think the first 2 classes that was it. So it was like 8. So half the people were probably drinking that night before, and they hadn't made it up yet. So people are trickling in, and then I don't know. I just get in a zone, me when I teach, and I didn't notice. But we take a quick break, and you're like, dude, look. I'm like, what? And look at the room.
Standing room. They were standing against the wall all the way around the room.
They actually remember they opened that partition door.
They were calling each other. They're calling each other and texting each other. Come in this room.
Asked, one of the attorneys came up. How the hell? What happened? She goes, "Oh, we just started texting. Get over here. This is a stupid class. Come over here." So
they were standing on the wall the whole time.
I remember at the end of that class, and we took Steve and the sergeant with us because it's a good thing to learn. Mm-hmm. We're going to teach them some stuff that they need to learn anyway. Yeah. And at the end, and that was great. I mean, I'm glad they did that. That was awesome. That was a great experience. At the end, I don't know, I think we did 10 minutes on phones. And one of the biggest mistakes people make when they go off and do their debauchery is they typically have their phone with them.
Debauchery.
And yeah, and it's going to, not only are they going to take pictures or whatever else, but it catalogs every cell tower you've shook hands with along the way. It has GPS. Whether you like it or not, you can turn it off. It is in your phone.
And what's worse now is this is in everybody's car.
Yeah,
it's up on that your GPS,
or their pocket.
Your GPS, mm-hmm. And you put in where you're going, and you talk to it and tell it, call my mom,
and it syncs to your car.
You just stuck your worst enemy if you're in trouble or doing something you don't want to do, or you're afraid to get caught for. Your car is 10 times more.
So you could take that car that when you plug in your phone to your car, yay, I'm going to sync my phone, and you get all your contacts and your messages, and then you throw this phone in the ocean because you just killed someone, and they take your car in the search warrant, and they get into the computer. Guess what? It's all of that stuff from that. Now, I'm not saying it's going to have all the phone calls and all that stuff, but it has your whole contact list. Mm-hmm. And if you set it up right, or if you wanted it to, it's going to get your text messages, who you called, when, all that stuff is still in there.
Well, let's just screw up everybody more. Remember when OnStar was a deal?
Oh, dude.
Because you and I were the ones who spec'd out the cars for the sheriff because, security. So you actually spec'd out his last cars and a couple of cars. OnStar is mandatory in Chevy. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about, I'm not going to disparage a freaking Chevy or any of that. OnStar, they're good companies.
It's a great thing.
They're a good thing. But you have to understand what you're doing when you give up, when you get those luxuries, you get those things of convenience where your car is doing all these great things for you. You're giving up a lot. And yeah, you can say, well, I have nothing to hide. Everyone says that. I remember the sheriff telling me, oh, I got nothing to hide. No, it doesn't matter. There's something you might say that could hurt someone else. Anyways, there's another story to that. When it comes to talking and worrying about what you're saying and stuff like that, everything can be manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you might just be putting in your GPS tracker where you want to go to lunch. But if I want to listen to you and I'm really, really good at hacking or getting into your stuff, I can listen to you all day long. I could do it before, but now I have you put all your stuff in your car. You put everything on this. These things are open source. I mean,
so exactly, you nailed it.
It's recording and it's recording video and audio.
So now
it's taking pictures.
Now you put the sheriff, let's say, in a car that has OnStar, and the DA gets in the car with them because they're going to go to some meeting somewhere, and they're going to talk about a case that's not adjudicated yet, but maybe it's about the department, whatever it may be. Irregardless of what it's about, all of those people who are on trial for whatever that may be, they have a right to due process.
Yeah.
And they have a right not to be talked about, or at least everybody else to hear it until they have their day in court.
It's against the law.
It's against the law. But you and I both know that this is used against them
all the time.
All the time. So how this plays out is, you're right. You spec the cars. You trained me. So this has, people don't even know what we've done and where we've been, and we don't talk about it. But the bottom line is, it's a funny story, but it's very serious. And I think Sheriff Villanueva was the first one that ever listened. He was a fantastic listener. Now, he didn't always follow our direction or whatever thing, or not direction, but
for the most part, he did.
Yeah, but I mean, he'd listen to everybody. That was the great part. And at the end of the day, he was elected to make the decision. But you at least got to tell him. Everybody should tell him so he can make an informed decision. Not tell him one side, and he's gonna make that decision because you only gave him one side.
No,
but so Eli Vera was working with him on the whole transition team, which good, right? So I go out, we're going to get him a new Suburban. He didn't want the one that was there. It was old, and they had done some stuff to that car that wasn't safe. So he's going to get a new car. And they always get a Suburban because it carries more stuff. However, Suburbans only come with OnStar. And to change that is an act of God, because that wiring loom is $50,000 off the top. So, however, so so I was dealing with Eli at the time because Alex told him to deal with Dan, you and I, and so we were going back and forth. I said, we're not doing that. He goes, what about a Ford? They have them too. So we're not doing that. So I in the interim, I leave. I go out to see Samantha. I'm in Wisconsin, and I remember my phone's blowing up. It's Eli, and the sheriff called me, and they're like, "Dan, we got to get this car." I'm like, "I know, I'm stuck, man. I got snowed in, bro. I'm supposed to be left yesterday, but I'm stuck here in a blizzard. I can't." So he goes, "Well, what's the option?" I said, "Look, Tahoe. The Tahoe is a police vehicle. Our sergeants drive Tahoes, like SEB and all that stuff, and OSS sergeants and all that. They don't come with that. You can order them either way. Order a Tahoe without the black and white paint job. Order him a color that he wants. I don't care. It's his pick, but order it without the wiring loom." And he's like, "I don't understand. What are you talking about?" I said, "Dude, if you want this man to be in his car and thinking," it's like being in the bathroom.
No.
You're being listened to.
No.
In your car, you have to know, especially as sheriff, or you're the DA, or you're whatever it is, you have to be comfortable in your car knowing that nobody can listen to you. Or what about drive it into a tree?
They're going to call and help you out. But our fight was always, we're going to show you how to not get tracked on your phone. We're going to show you how not to get tracked in your car, and you're going to screw it all up because you're not going to do it. Because it takes discipline.
It does.
And discipline is convenient. This thing is so convenient. Your car is so convenient. making it a pain in the butt. They're not gonna do it. I can tell you because their security. Alex would have his team. They have freaking all the great equipment. I'm not gonna say they're made for protection of him.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're gonna park the car and go in the freaking converts with it. And you're gonna leave the car in the street. And I would tell the guys, well, you just lost it. Do you think the president of the United States car is ever left on the street or governor? You don't lose eyes on those things because that's going to be a weak point of his security, leaving that car somewhere because you don't know what's been done to it once you left eyes. I remember he parked it. Baca used to park his on the street. Baca used to park his car on the street, and he'd be like, "Oh, I got nothing to worry about."
You know who else did that?
Who?
The current chief.
Oh, Jesus. We don't talk about him. But anyways, that's the fight. But, I think that we have to come and do this again, Dan, soon.
Well, we'll have to talk about, there's a lot of stuff we can talk about.
For another 4 hours.
We haven't been talking for 4 hours.
No. How long have we been talking? To invite people who don't talk so much. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.